it is dropping, but it will find its true value. It was undervalued at 16, and it probably is overvalued at 10.
In the value of the cedi, we are not seeing the same in the third quarter. So far, we are told that it's lost about some 13%. When it was...
Hi, great people of Ghana, it's your Nigerian ﷺ bringing you political news in our channel, Ghanatube. Ghana is actually making waves, making us happy, making sure that everything works together. As we all know, that President Mahama is actually not backing down from his accountability, from his campaign and his promises, which he has actually been dishing out to us one by one. Not just him, the minorities and the majorities are still pulling strongholds. You also know that our channel is always here to bring you all the news, trending news your way. Please watch.
On this rise, the IMF had warned that the country was over-interfering, which is why we were seeing the performance. My question tonight is, Mr. President, did you manipulate the performance of the cedi? Is that why we're seeing the cedi fall as quickly as it is today? How do you explain this decline in value in such a short period of time? And what's the plan to revive it?
Thank you very much. Nana Mejakwa has the floor.
Patronidine Nana Mejakwa TV. My question is oral. And say, Mr. President, what can PR for oral? Now, the last accountability series, Attorney General. A statement in person read quoting I wish to remind you of the fact that when I announced the Kwabena Edubwahi investigation, I was blunt in stating the fact that I am open to engaging in plea bargaining with those who have been investigated and found to have looted or stolen state resources. I mean no words about my intentions and will therefore not shut the door to any accused person willing to enter into negotiations with my office for purposes of reaching a plea agreement. Yenim say ya criminal and other offences proceeding amendment act 2022 plea bargaining. But my question is say fighting corruption. As Attorney General, State Attorney, say we're being upon the Atuanumwa, say we're looting state resource and as a fund, bra, then we may negotiate. Does it mean say, so we betia says Sikana me fine, netia, ye giant one, and do one. The question, it does.
Justice from Shinwa News Agency.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. My name is Justice from China State Media Shinwa News Agency. Looking at the global trade crisis that was ignited by the United States President, people have been wondering what countries like Ghana would be doing as a response. But we realized recently that the Chinese government has actually granted all African countries a zero tariff into their market. What will Ghana be doing to take advantage of that for our trading to be boosted as a substitute to what we may have been losing from the United States side? Thank you.
Before I take the final question from here, let me indicate that we are joined by journalists from across the regions through the power of technology. So as and when the technical folks sit down me, I would ask them to also contribute to this question and answer session. Alfred, you may have the last word in this batch.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. President. My name is Alfred Okanse. I work with TV3 as part of Media General. Just on the back of the oral question that was asked by a colleague of mine, over the weekend we had the General Secretary of your party indicate that there are some NDC lawyers who are cutting deals with some persons who are standing trial for acts of corruption. Is this statement one that you're minded by? And if you are, what are you going to do about this, especially because of how committed you are, as you indicated, to pursue oral because the Ghanaian people expect that you should do so? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alfred. Now, we are joined by William Menta from Rich FM. So, William, if you can hear me, you have the floor.
Okay, so my name is William Menta from Asenfosu based Rich FM Central Region. And Mr. President, Central Region is known as the heartbeat of education and tourism. Yet our people still struggle with unemployment and underdeveloped infrastructure. What specific steps is your government and our strength into real jobs and opportunities for the youth? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, you may answer this question, sir.
Thank you very much. The first question is about the rise in the value of the cedi. We recognize a very steep appreciation in the value of the cedi in response to the reforms that we were carrying out. And for those of you who it is dropping, but it will find its true value. It was undervalued at 16, and it probably is overvalued at 10. But somewhere between there, we have the real value of the cedi. And so I believe that it is about stopping rapid depreciation of the currency. Almost every currency would realize either depreciation or appreciation in the course of a year. But when you have steep depreciation of about, like we had in 2024, 25% depreciation in the currency in the first half of the year, it makes planning difficult. And so, yes, Bank of Ghana has been intervening in the forex market, but they've withdrawn. And what happened was that because of the rapid appreciation in the value of the cedi, we saw an exponential increase in imports, because then people could buy cheaper dollars and so they could import more, which is a natural economic phenomenon for what they export. And so every country tries to find out a balance where exporters are able to do good business and importers are not overburdened by high forex rates. Where that lies, I don't know. I'm not the central bank. But the cedi is making an adjustment, and I believe that it will settle at a certain rate, and we will make sure that any depreciation that occurs in the value of the cedi is within a margin of about 5% per annum. That is what we target. And so for now, there's still speculation. It's also coincided with a period where we saw a reduction of 50% in remittances, because citizens in the diaspora were taken aback by the rapid appreciation of the cedi. And so if somebody was building a house, if he was going to send $100,000, it meant that he was losing a certain percentage of that 100,000. And most of them would decide to adopt a wait-and-see attitude and say, oh, no, as for cedi, it's not possible that the cedi can regain its value to that extent. By all means, it will go up again. So I'll hold back my remittance until the cedi goes back up. So we saw a 50% reduction, but there were also some other factors. There were some money transfer companies that were collecting cedis abroad and not repatriating collecting dollars abroad and not repatriating the dollars. There were other which we're investigating. There were other cases where people applied through the commercial banks for foreign exchange to cover imports, and those monies are transferred to pay for imports, but the imports never came into Ghana. And we've studied a period of 4 years, and over the period of 4 years, about $42 billion was taken out of this country without the corresponding imports coming into the country. And so we started sanctioning some banks, and soon we'll start interrogating some individuals who ostensibly took money out against imports but never brought those imports. We want to know what happened and if there was wrongdoing to sanction whoever it is. While we work to stabilize our economy and improve the value of our currency, we must protect that currency, because strong CD is good for all of us. But when that happens, some people try to take advantage of it. And I think that we should all condemn anything like that. FR investigations now with regards to oral. Senya Okayano, MPP address almost Shishebi by IMRA se abani wudi FR case bi ho se ebia wafesika na bibia o akwenya obetimi aka se yo ene aban case na mode ekwedu amode bomeno me sande sika na se agudie bia na se bibia mode bomi kwedu no me sande aba se ne be ya bomfa menkoto how do they call imprisonment efiase momfa menkoto efiase enti ayemra edaho enti obi ayabo no kwedu bia ewo tumi se obeka se yo ene yentwa so na memfa seimra na yenjai sa eyuno enti eno enye aban ena ebeka eye nipa yede na kugina court and so se oka se o munjai asem no mu na memfa seimra na se agudie bia me fa ye memfa famra na se japade bia me fa ye memfa famra na se bibi aban wa kwenya se ebeka se de bi yenje na yebeto aso any case no enti ejina case no ene nia nipa ne ye enti still aban wotumi say even though wako emrana se aka say me pese me san ede bibi bema aban na aban eja case no mu aban betimi aka say de bi yempe yenje enti eno a case by case say o sheda ede adwenbone ewia yesika a echese eso a yengina echese I don't know how to explain I just say abo aban anase oman ka ye wotumi se ebeka se yempe nia wode ba no na ye de obekwa akoto efiase but ni people reason ka say na wode no koto efiase wa na obeto eduane ama no wa na obehwe no oyare a wode no beko hospital enti say wewia sika na okase o sande sika be mawa ene ho wonfa so se ye beji ye sika chen se ye di nipa no beko efiase enti ye no de Attorney General ene behwe no akan nya ehia zero tariffs. It's an incentive for us to export into the Chinese market. And we need to look at the items that China imports and see where we have a comparative advantage to be able to take up those imports. I know that China imports a lot from the US, and there's a trade tariff war between US and China. So China is looking for alternative markets to import those items. And so they import a lot of meat from the US, they import a lot of maize from the US and other agricultural products. And so if we have arable land and we're in a position to expand our production, then the zero tariff will make meaningful sense. Then we can take advantage of it. But it is just a figure if we are not able to respond and be able to export into the Chinese market. But I think that it offers an opportunity for diversification of markets. Nobody wins tariff wars. It's unfortunate that America has appended the whole world trade system. We all work towards a rules-based trading system. It took years of negotiation from Rio to Doha round and all that. And eventually, reasonable tariffs were agreed between countries. Countries like Africa enjoyed zero tariff into the US because we were in the developing world. And so it was a concession that US gave. And what you receive in exchange is soft power that, you know, a lot of people have a good disposition towards the US because the US has been kind to Africa and all that kind of thing. But in comes President Trump. He has a more transactional mindset. And he says that the U.S. has been taken for granted for a long time. And so even countries like Ghana in Africa, he slapped a 15% tariff on us from zero tariff. And so AGOA is technically dead. It was due for renegotiation in September. There's no way with this 15% tariff AGOA is going to be renewed. But we're just watching carefully. The power to impose tariffs is that of Congress. But in this case, the U.S. president always pushes the limits. And so there's a case in the U.S. Supreme Court to determine whether his impositions of tariffs are legal or not. And so depending on what the U.S. court says, the tariffs would either be permanent or they might have to go back to Congress to endorse the tariffs that he has imposed. And then from the Central Region, Rich FM, he asked what we're doing to enhance the tourist attraction of the Central Region. It's all about infrastructure. It's also about service. With infrastructure, even the travel time to Central Region is a major problem. In Ghana, we've maintained single lane, highways for a very long time. They are prone to accidents. A lot of accidents occur. Now every day you hear there's an accident on the Kumasi Road, there's an accident on the Cape Coast Road. And that is because when two vehicles oncoming and going are using a single lane, the tendency for, head-on collisions are very real because of wrongful overtaking and all that. So one of our first things that would enhance tourism in the Central Region is that we're dualizing the road all the way to Takrady. It will reduce travel time to Cape Coast. It will allow somebody to wake up in the morning, travel to Cape Coast, enjoy his tourist experience, and be back in the evening to Accra to sleep. And so reducing the travel time will help enhance that. But apart from that, we must identify what the tourist sites are, improve their attractiveness, and also improve the service delivery. One of the things that affects tourism in Ghana and West Africa is that our service is poor. You go to a restaurant and they think that they are doing you a favor. You go to eat and they think that you owe them, to serve you. If you go to other parts of the world, it's completely different. You are compelled to spend your money because they are all over you. Even before you finish the drink that they have given you, you are halfway. Can I bring you another drink? And if you are the shy type and things, you always say, oh yes, yes. And you forget that you have to pay for it.
Please do well to like, comment, and follow. Put on notification bell so you get all our news one by one. Thanks, man.